Can you say hi?
Hi. Hi.
You guys might want to go on mute just right up until we call you out.
Got it.
Hello, everybody. If you've just joined, we're going to keep things open here for a few minutes to allow everyone to jump on the call. We understand it's mid-morning on a Saturday, so want to give everyone a minute or two just to get logged on and jump on the call, but we'll be kicking things off here in just a few moments. Should have some background music playing. If we were official, we would have that going. Usually at the events, we have our ambient music playing while people are still filing in. But again, guys, if you've just joined, thank you so much. We're going to be kicking things off here in just another minute or two. I want to make sure we give time for everyone to log in. All right, just another minute here and we'll get started. If you have logged on, thank you guys so much for jumping on. We're going to kick things off here in just a few seconds. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to welcome everyone to the 17th annual Boulder Community Virtual St. Baldrick's Day celebration. I'm happy to report that as of this morning, we have eclipsed this year's fundraising goal. Collectively, your efforts have helped to raise over $27,800. That is amazing. At our first event here in Boulder 17 years ago, the St. Baldrick's Foundation was only 5 years old. And in those 5 years, they had raised about $7 million. Here in Boulder, we put together what we thought was St. Baldrick's at the local Irish pub, Connor O'Neill's. At that event, we shaved about 40 people. That included fraternity members from the University of Colorado, included ROTC cadets, we had kids, we had grandparents, and we had an awesome team from Celestial Seasonings. Now, fast forward to 2021. St. Baldrick's is now the largest fundraiser for pediatric cancer research outside of the United States government. Now a global force for good, St. Baldrick's has raised over $300 million since its inception. In Boulder, what started as one event has morphed into multiple events throughout our community. Over 17 years, St. Baldrick's in Boulder has raised over $2 million by shaving over 4,000 heads. I'm happy to report that our community event has contributed over $960,000, which means we're only $40,000 away from the $1 million mark. Now, these numbers give us a good foundation to stand on, to gain perspective of what's possible, and to see what can be achieved when we put our bald heads together. Each year, over 160,000 children are diagnosed with cancer. That is one child and one family that is receiving a cancer diagnosis every 2 minutes. Stretched into a day, that's close to 700 children that will be diagnosed with cancer today, tomorrow, and every day next week. As this figure is multiplied with each passing day, we're urged to continue this fight. 1 in every 5 children diagnosed with cancer today will not survive. 50 years ago, a child diagnosed with cancer had little to no hope. Now, thanks to pediatric research, a lot of which has been funded through St. Baldrick's, more than 80% of the children diagnosed will be cured. Now, we're inspired by the progress we've made, but we can't stop until our efforts push that 80% all the way up to 100%. We are honored today to have Dr. Dahl join us. It's unclear if Dr. Dahl's actually joined the call, so I'm just going to pause for 1 second. Dr. Dahl is a pediatric cancer researcher that is funded by St. Baldrick's, working out of the Children's Hospital in Aurora. Dr. Dahl, if you're there.
I'm sorry, Mike. Dr. Dahl has been unable to join us today, but I will go ahead and share some information on Dr. Dahl and where you folks can read more about Dr. Dahl's research and how he has collaborated with the help and funding from a St. Baldrick's grant. Thank you all.
Great. Thanks, Ada. Now, the goal for the foundation is to achieve no less than total cures for more than 100 forms of cancer that occur in children and young adults. To do this, the foundation is funding every stage of pediatric cancer research. They call it from bench to bedside, engaging industry, government, and academia to help drive innovation and remove the barriers to drug development. Now, because of the COVID pandemic, money raised through St. Baldrick's events decreased by over 50% last year. That means tens of millions of dollars will not be available, putting critical research projects on hold. Now, childhood cancer doesn't slow down or stop, and we're here today to say that neither do we. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our top 10 fundraisers as of today. We have Sue Abwan, who has raised over $2,800. We have Peyton Hill, James Fairbanks, Seth McGuire, Kim Giel, Ross Greiner, Lana Borchert, Noah Orr, Enzo Pelez, and Justin Imhoff. You guys really knocked it out of the park this year. Congrats. I'd also like to recognize our female shavies this year. Out of 35 participating shavies, we have 10 women who've decided to step up, to go bald, and to make change happen. While we raise money to affect change through research and clinical trials, we shave our heads to make a statement in solidarity with the children and families in our community. Together we go bald to show that we stand by them, and we'll continue this fight until every child diagnosed with cancer is guaranteed a cure. I've invited Haley Walker and her family to join us today to share their story.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for participating today. This is Hudson. She is going to be 3 years old this coming June. When Hudson was 7 months old, we found a lump on her left scapula bone and took her in to the hospital, or actually first to her pediatrician to see what was going on. And they sent us to Children's to get scans. She was originally diagnosed with something called a wing scapula, which is really just an abnormal growth on a bone, nothing serious. And they told us to call back in a month if we felt like we wanted more information or, to bring her back in. And we felt kind of weird about the diagnosis because it didn't really match what her shoulder looked like, or like what they had said about it. They said if it doesn't go away, and it obviously wasn't going away. So we went back, got rescanned, and that same day they told us it was a soft tissue mass, that they weren't quite sure what that meant. And so after a little bit more testing with a biopsy and stuff like that, we were told that she had a tumor on her scapula, and that they thought it was one of two types of cancer. And it turned out to be a Ewing sarcoma tumor, which in her age and the location of the tumor was really not normal for her age. And so we were kind of nervous about what was going to happen. But from there, within a week, they had to insert a port in her, and we had started chemo. And we went through 7 months of chemo, and halfway through that 7 months, she had a surgery done by an amazing surgeon at the Children's Hospital here in Aurora, where they removed her entire left scapula bone and some of the tissue around it, just to ensure that all of the site where the tumor was completely gone. And before that, she had 100% tumor kill, which was amazing, and like more than we ever thought that we would get. And after the resection of her scapula, we finished up the last half of her chemo. And at the end, she was able to ring the bell, and she has been cancer-free. It'll be 2 years this coming October, which is awesome. As you can tell now, she is a normal, almost 3-year-old toddler. And, we do have a long road ahead of us. I would think one of the most important things that people don't really understand about cancer is that even though you are deemed cancer-free, the journey is like very far from over then. We have scans now we've moved it to every 4 months for quite a while, and then every 6 months, and then once a year. Like, we'll be in and out of there until she's into the teenage years, and into the teenage years, we have even more things we'll have to deal with. So one of the huge things that we loved about St. Baldrick's is the research that goes into not only cancer treatments in children, but trying to limit the after effects of those chemo treatments. So children decades ago that had the same type of cancer that she does and received, treatments may have different effects than she does. And the hope is that as the research goes on and on, those effects are less and less. And so far, we have felt pretty blessed with very minimal side effects from the chemo. And I can only hope that going forward, families, experience even less than we do, and eventually none. And that is really the goal for St. Baldrick's, and why we're so thankful for the research that goes into it, because our baby is sitting here with us now, and that may not have been a possibility if it weren't for St. Baldrick's. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Nate, I think we can switch it over now. Thank you guys so much for sharing. It's great to see you. It's great to hear your other kiddo in the background making all the noise. But we really, really appreciate it. And also, just so you guys know, Dr. Dahl has joined the call. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Dahl to jump on and to share with us some of the work he's doing.
Hi. Thank you for giving me a chance to join you guys today. And I want to start. That's such an incredible story. I love hearing stories like that. I love seeing how fantastic she's doing. I think that's what all of us are working for. So my name's Nathan Dahl. I am a physician researcher at Children's Hospital Colorado. And what that means is that my time is split between the clinic, where I take care of children with cancer diagnoses, and the research space, where I run a lab studying specifically brain cancers. It's a really exciting and hopeful time to be working in pediatric oncology, because there's just been incredible gains made over the past few decades. But those gains have been are not equally distributed across the patients that we see. So there are some areas that we've made incredible progress, particularly in blood cancers like leukemias, and St. Baldrick's has been a big part of funding a lot of those studies. But there are other areas that we still really desperately need to do better. So I study a particular type of brain cancer called diffuse intrinsic pontine gliomas, or DIPGs. And those are tumors that we don't have treatments for right now, which means that I, on a regular basis, have to talk to families and have that conversation that we really don't have good options for them. And that is both heartbreaking to me, but it's incredibly motivating to push us to say that we need to do better on the research side. St. Baldrick's has been a really critical piece of that for our efforts, in that I was early on in my career, when I was trying to get a research effort off the ground and find new ways of treating this disease. It was really St. Baldrick's that stepped up and funded those efforts. So I was partnered with St. Baldrick's as one of their fellowship scholars a few years ago now. And that money helped move that research forward so that we now have a new lab and new people who are finding new targets in a disease that doesn't have any right now. And we're in the process of talking with drug companies about taking drugs that we've identified in the lab that seem to work against this disease into clinical trials within the next 1 to 2 years. And that's an amazing amount of progress that we've been able to make. And it's progress that we've been able to make exclusively because of organizations like St. Baldrick's and others who believe in this work and support this work and have helped make that possible. The work that we do in taking care of kids with cancer doesn't come through drug companies. It doesn't come through the National Cancer Institute. It by and large comes through people who are motivated, people who are passionate, and people who come together, both physicians and researchers and organizations and families. And it's been an incredible blessing to be a part of that. It's been an incredible blessing to see kids do better as a result, and humbling to have the investment of groups like you to join with us in making that better. So I am grateful both for the role that St. Baldrick's has played in my own research. I'm excited to see what we're doing going forward. And I can't speak highly enough for how important the support of groups like this are in terms of real impacts in what we're able to do in the lab and the clinic for kids who need it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Awesome. That was great. Thank you both so much for sharing. It's amazing to hear, Dr. Dahl, of how, the foundation is really putting muscle behind these efforts and fast tracking the clinical trials. I've heard in the past, prior to organizations like St. Baldrick's being involved, there was so much red tape that it would, researchers would be lucky to advance their studies to clinical trial within 8 to 10 years. And that was only best case scenario. And now, thanks to organizations like St. Baldrick's, they are able to push into clinical trials this like cutting edge research that's happening in just a short number of years, like you said, 1 to 2 years. So it's really remarkable. And I really appreciate hearing both sides, both Haley from your side and the whole Walker family, but also hearing from you, Dr. Dahl, as well. So thank you. So we're going bald this year to honor Hudson. We honor Klaus Hyman and Elsa Johnson, who have been honored at our past events going all the way back to 2006. They battled childhood cancer, and as you've heard, they're now cancer-free. We also honor kids in our community who have lost their lives to cancer. This includes Creston Walker, Thomas Buck, Steve Crow, and Jonathan Nix. We must recognize that a childhood cancer diagnosis does not just affect a child and their family, it affects our entire community. And therefore, it is the community that must come together to effect change. One fascinating aspect of this event is just how many people come back year after year to participate. And with each year, we have the great honor of recognizing those brave shavees as part of our League of Legendary Heroes. And this includes Squires of Hope, who have participated 3 to 6 years, Knights of the Bald Table, who have participated 7 to 9 years, Knight Commanders, who have participated 10 to 14 years, and Crusaders for a Cure, who have participated 15 or more years. Now, we were not able to host an event last year, so we want to recognize both shavies from last year and this year who have reached these ranks. Now we have a short video to play to recognize these amazing volunteers.
Hi, my name's Seth McGuire. This is my 4th year doing St. Baldrick's, and it's been an incredible part of my life for those 4 years. I got to know the organization through Mike McGoey, and I'm very glad I did, as it's been inspiring to be part of a community like this that's not just doing great things, but also having fun doing it. So thanks for letting me be part of this. I look forward to being part of it for many years to come.
Hi, it's an honor to be able to raise funds for kids with cancer. Sending love and best wishes to everybody. Thanks.
Hi, Sue Obwan here. Been with the organization now for 8 years. I didn't know what to expect when I came in and fell in love with the organization. What a great place to be able to fundraise where the money goes for research to be able to help our children. Love it. Thank you for letting me be a part of the team, and let's get together and let's kick cancer's butt.
Hi, my name is Noah, and this will be my 4th year doing St. Baldrick's. I like doing St. Baldrick's because I like raising money for cancer research, and I like shaving my head. And my mom has gone through cancer, so I couldn't imagine what it would be like for a kid to have to go through that.
All right. So assuming I'm back on now. So you may lose your hair today, but my hope is you gain some perspective about who you are and what you're capable of achieving. Whether you're 10 years old or you're 75 years old, whether you've raised $40 or you've raised $400, recognize that it is these small, selfless choices that help shape who our community is and our society as a whole. Your bald head is a voice in our community for the thousands of children sitting in hospital beds right now as I speak, for the children who have lost their lives to cancer, and the children who have fought this disease and won. By giving your hair on St. Baldrick's Day, you're joining the thousands of voices that say we must stand by these children and we must continue this fight until every kid is guaranteed a cure. In doing so, we catch a glimpse of what's possible from within our community and from within ourselves. Now we have a short video to share from the executive director of the foundation, Kathleen Ruddy. Before we share that clip, I just want to say thank you again to everyone who stepped up this year to make this event happen. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or to the foundation directly. Thank you all for everything you do. And now, Kathleen Ruddy.
Hello to all of you in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Kathleen Ruddy, CEO of the St. Baldrick's Foundation. Thanks for letting me crash your 17th annual St. Baldrick's event. You have all been so devoted to kids with cancer, and you're the reason I know that together we'll one day achieve the mission to realize a true cure for every child. By your shaves, your service, and your contributions, each of you is helping to conquer childhood cancers. And I thank you for enlisting more heroes for the kids and for helping to bring about every achievement that's been realized in the field of pediatric cancer research over the past 17 years. From new drugs to clinical trials, gene therapies and immunotherapies, it's your gifts of time, talent, treasure, and your hair that fuel the research pipeline that is saving kids' lives today. And with so many other funders focusing on COVID research now, your gifts are literally ensuring childhood cancer research continues so we can conquer cancer once we've conquered COVID. So thank you for showing up today and for embracing the virtual shave experience. This may be the most important virtual event of your life because so many lives depend upon it. Over the years, you've done a great job in Boulder sharing so many St. Baldrick's honored family stories, and each of them is an emissary for the mission, inspiring us and reminding us of what we are fighting for. And you've accomplished so much more than the nearly 1,700 heads you've shaved and the nearly $1 million you've raised in Boulder. It's the priceless gift of hope you've given every family in this fight. And those who don't yet know, they'll depend upon that hope in the future. To your intrepid volunteer event organizer, Mike McGoy, for 17 years, I've treasured the opportunity to work with you. Mike, you are honest, kind, humble, caring, and devoted. I have endless admiration for you. And I thank you for leading through thick and thin and for making this cause your family's cause too. I know the tradition of leadership and service you have established together in Colorado is only achieved by a lot of hard work by people with really big hearts. Thank you for welcoming kids with cancer into yours.